So the big viral clip going around the internet yesterday was of a BBC newsreader staring down the lens of the camera and flipping a finger at anyone who might have sat down to watch the midday news. Senior BBC News presenter Marianne Moshiri, who is absolutely definitely not a diversity hire, and anyone who suggests that she is a massive racist, has since apologised and claimed she had been joking around with her team and that the gesture was not meant to go out on air. Perfectly feasible, but it doesn't excuse her gross lack of professionalism. She sat at the news desk facing the camera, imminently about to go on air. Why hold your employers or your audience and your job in such contempt that you would take such a risk as to make a rude and insulting gesture towards the camera? Because she knows there's no chance of her being sacked. If a white guy did the same thing, he'd be sacked instantly. But in DEI Britain, of course, women of ethnicity have privileged status, gifted any job they want largely regardless of merit, purely by virtue of being able to tick a few equality and diversity boxes. And then once they're in the job, no one would dare to try to sack them, no matter how bad their conduct, for fear of being accused of racism. What a charmed life, eh? I mean, it's not particularly offensive to me to see a BBC newsreader flip a finger at the camera, but it's the sort of silly schoolgirl nonsense that terminally undermines the gravitas of who they pretend to be on screen. Why would I choose to believe a word you're telling me if whenever you're off camera you like to amuse yourself by flipping a finger at work colleagues? It's a base sort of wit at best, isn't it? What's more grating is that this demonstration of lapsed standards happened the same day as the BBC announced it was going to whack an extra £10 on the licence fee. A broadcaster doesn't need to have standards, of course, when the public are forced to pay £179 a year for their output, regardless of its quality or whether anyone is watching it. Unless, of course, the public stops doing that. Unless the public stops paying for propaganda to be pumped into their homes. What if the licence fee inspectors knock on my door, Andrew? Don't answer it. What if they prosecute me? They won't, they haven't got any evidence. What if they send me to prison, Andrew? There's no room, the prisons are full. If the BBC is as good as it keeps telling us all it is, then it'll survive as a subscription service, won't it? It's time to find out.